Hey St. Catharines, Mayor Matt Cisco here. Welcome back to another episode of talkSTC. We are into the summer months, exciting times in our city. Warm weather, obviously, but a lot going on as well. One of the things I'm excited to talk about, City's Summer Concert Series in Montebello Park. Join us on July 20th, July 27th. 6 to 9 p.m. at Montebello Park. We're going to have live music. We're going to have food trucks. We're going to have a vendor market from Black-owned 905. A lot of amazing things happening down right in the heart of the city. The event is free to attend, but we're always encouraging folks, if you have non-perishable food items that you want to bring in and donations to the Niagara Regional Native Center to support their healthy living program, those donations can go a long way. So I do hope to see you out there on the 20th and the 27th in Montebello Park. Today's episode is pretty exciting for all of us. We're going to start off today. I'm going to do an interview with a good friend of mine, Marla Smith, who's the Director of Development at the Niagara Children's Center. And she's going to discuss all the great things going on at the center and what's coming up in the next few months. After that, we're going to be talking to Jaiad and Erika from Matter of Black to discuss their work in our community and the upcoming Emancipation Day events planned for later this month. But we are going to start first with my friend, as I said, Marla Smith. Marla, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
So I always do a little bit of a bio with my guests. I just want to make sure we get this nice and close. First and foremost, though, Niagara Children's Center, that's a charity that's near and dear to my heart, my family's heart. You are the Director of Development for the Children's Center. Tell me a little bit about how you got into that role.
Oh, sure. It's interesting because I actually learned about Niagara Children's Center when I had my daughter. So that was 11 years ago, and we were referred there. For her, she had a thing called torticollis, which means her neck didn't turn properly, and so she needed to do physiotherapy, and that was my very first experience at the Children's Center. And I remember walking in, and my physiotherapist came to greet me in the reception area, which I was totally stunned by because I wasn't expecting such a personal experience. And the first thing she did is she looked at my daughter and she said, "Wow, she's beautiful. Come with me."
That's phenomenal. And I mean, I think you've just described an experience that just about everybody who goes to the center for the first time feels. So I love that. Now, you're a certified fundraising executive, over 15 years of experience with small and mid-sized fundraising organizations.
Yes.
What is a certified fundraising executive? What exactly does that mean?
So it's actually an international designation that is given out to fundraisers who have achieved professional development, years of service, dollars raised, as well as professional development. And once you have that foundation, you're actually able to sit for a formal exam that is done through an accrediting body. And so it's an international designation.
So you've progressed through this. You are now taking on the role of master trainer?
Yes. So as of July 20th, I will be an AFP master trainer.
So in your role as the development director at the Children's Center, and I know in my board experience, we started the in-house fundraising right around the time that I got started. And I think in the first years, it was about $300,000. You came on board. You've had years since then, upwards of $2 million.
Yes.
What is it like? I mean, two questions. What is it like to do the work to build those relationships? And then the second question is, how do you feel knowing where we were and how far you've brought the organization in fundraising?
I think the biggest thing is that when people first hear about Niagara Children's Center, they sit there and they think this is something that they weren't as familiar with, they weren't as knowledgeable about. So once they hear about the great work that takes place, the first thing they really want to do is, how do I become involved? How do I know more about what you're doing? So I think there's satisfaction in knowing over the years, we've strengthened the communication stories about what we're doing at Niagara Children's Center so that more people have a deeper understanding of that. And then if they're able and willing to support us, they are. So our story is just so rich that people are drawn to want to be connected.
So, I mean, how do you feel? Like I said, when you came on, we were looking at about $300,000 a year, which is a massive contribution from the community. But you've really pushed, the bounds and made a lot more things possible through the center. How does that feel?
I think I'm fortunate to be able to tell the stories of our community and that people want to say yes and be a part of that. And I'm proud to facilitate that. I'm proud that our community sees that understanding and they're saying, yes, I want to be involved. Yes, I can support this. And so no, I'm really proud of the work we've done.
That's great. I will say, as a former past chair now, and but a board member, I'm proud of the work that you've done, and I'm proud to be associated with the center and everything that all the staff does, really, because at the end of the day, I mean, you know as well as I do, you know better than I do. The center is what it is because of the people that work in the building, that work with the clients, bring the kids in and help them, start to meet milestones that maybe they weren't meeting beforehand. So I think we've both been very blessed in that respect.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit because, I mean, we hear a lot about fundraising in the community. Obviously, many organizations do. Your work at the center in fundraising, what do those dollars go to support?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the easy answer, like the big overarching example, is that Niagara Children's Center serves 5,300 kids from across the region. And what that really means is the kids that are coming in for physical, developmental, and or communicative delays. And so we provide customized therapies so that they can be the best versions of themselves. So examples of what that looks like: recreation therapy. So children, I think many of us can all think back to our childhood where we participated in an activity, a sporting team, and we were able to make friendships, learn new skills, really feel more connected to people. So children that have different abilities or special needs still have those same desires to be able to participate in recreational activities. And at Niagara Children's Center, we facilitate that programming based on their abilities so that they can participate to their fullest extent. Plus, they're getting therapeutic interventions. So not only are they having these meaningful interactions, they're also able to achieve therapeutic goals so that they can be the best versions of themselves.
So the fundraising dollars really just go to support all of those efforts.
You got it.
That's fantastic. I'm going to ask, just because I love this program, it's probably my favorite thing we do at the center. Tell us a little bit about Challenger Baseball.
Sure. Challenger Baseball is a really neat one, and it's a partnership between Niagara Children's Center and the Jaiad Care Foundation. And we know that summertime, one of the most popular sports is baseball. And so if you're a child that has physical, developmental, or communicative delays, participating in traditional baseball would be complicated for you. And the traditional baseball setting may not really lend to your abilities. So Challenger Baseball helps to break down some of those barriers so that you can participate with a buddy in a baseball environment. So what that really means is if I have difficulty communicating, I would have a partner who could communicate on my behalf, and we would do baseball as a team. So for example, I would travel to first base with that person, and that person would guide me along. So a really good example actually is visually impaired children, so who wouldn't be able to traditionally navigate from the bases along. They would have a guide to be able to bring them. So it really builds that connection, breaks down social isolation, but allows you to participate fully with someone that supports you.
And what I love about the Challenger Baseball program is, like talking to parents. And, for a lot of parents, their children have different needs and maybe they haven't been able to participate in sports. And for a lot of parents, they feel for their kids and they wish they could have the same experience as they did. And I had a dad tell me, Challenger Baseball allowed my son to be able to do what I did and play baseball. And does it look a little bit different? For sure. But did they get to have that experience? They did. And I always point to that one, like that program, as my favorite, just because I think it sort of speaks to what the center does. It's not just about giving them the experience, but there's the therapeutic aspect to it and all the rec therapy and everything else that we do, the occupational therapy, the speech and language, all the rest of it.
Well, and you even bring up a really great point about the parents, because one of the things that people in the community don't always realize that we do is we really support the whole family at Niagara Children's Center. And the parent engagement part of what we do is a unique aspect that we offer to build up capacity for parents to be able to care for their children, to break down social isolation so those parents have a network of people they're connected to, and allow parents to participate. So parents that you're talking about are able to coach They're able to really have that fulsome experience. You know, like I think of you, Matt, as a dad, you know, you got 4 kids. Coaching is one of your, I think, favorite things.
Oh yeah. And then that's exactly it. And these are parents that maybe felt like maybe they weren't going to ever have that opportunity. And it's the whole family experience that I think is just amazing about what happens at the center. So, Help Kids Shine just wrapped up. Was it successful?
Oh, it was so successful. We were so thrilled.
I should say I knew the answer to that question before I asked it, but tell me how successful.
Okay, so it was amazing. So we have been doing the Help Kids Shine campaign for over 20 years, and the campaign has looked different as we've sort of evolved, as fundraising has evolved, as our community and the needs have evolved. But this year we did the most amount of money that we have ever raised, which was over $325,000.
Yeah.
And it's for kids right here in Niagara. So we were very blessed by the outpouring of support from our community.
And I'm going to give a special shout out to my friend Chuck McShane, who was the campaign chair, and I thought did a phenomenal job sort of guiding the process through from the community volunteer perspective.
Yep.
Excellent chair, but very successful this year. I mean, you can't say enough about folks like Dan and Sharon O'Hara from O'Hara Trucking and Excavating. They did the matching program, and just an absolutely phenomenal time. And I know, you know, you and I have joked several times over the last couple of years about the aggressive targets that you set during the Help Kids Shine campaign, but you know, I think it speaks to the work you've done in the community, building relationships with different corporate partners, with different folks in the community, that we're able to continually meet and exceed those goals.
Absolutely. And like even the example of Chuck and Dan and Sharon, we've had amazing volunteers, like yourself, Matt, like chair of our board of directors. These volunteers have allowed us to amplify our voice in the community, and we couldn't have done it without their support.
Yeah, agreed. Now, we have more stuff coming up. Tell me about my favorite event of the year.
So the Superhero Run is Niagara Children's Center's signature event. So if you haven't heard about it, it is a fun family activity that is all-inclusive to individual needs, and it is held on October 14th at Brock University. And my friend here, Matt Cisco, gets to be Superman. Super Cisco, I think, is the running joke.
Yeah, it's so every year, I should tell people, every year I promise that I'm going to get a different outfit.
Never happens.
It never happens. Every year I show up as Superman because he's my favorite. I actually went out of my way to get Clark Kent glasses this year so that I can complete the look a little bit more. But it really is. It's an amazing event, and you know, it involves a lot of kids who are clients at the center, but who get to get dressed up and do all kinds of different activities. And you know, there's a little bit of competition. I will say, in the past, the previous mayor would come and run the event, and every year I would do my best to track him down before he got to the finish line and beat him while wearing the full Superman getup. But it really is an amazing community event, and I mean, talk about how the staff support it when that event happens.
You know, it's really interesting. So if you think of like a child with, you know, a typical special need, oftentimes we think about that child not finding an avenue to belong.
Yeah.
The Superhero Run is an opportunity for all children to belong. And so children that are typically developing, neurodivergent, neurotypical, can all come together in one area to participate together. So that part is beautiful. When we think about the staff, our staff, like you mentioned earlier, are amazing. Not only are they talented, smart, they love supporting our families. They put their heart and soul into their work. And if you talk to anybody that's been supported by Niagara Children's Center, the first thing they're going to tell you is how amazing our team of therapists are. So they come out. The reason we can actually do the run is because of them, because they volunteer their time to support us. They are helping out activity stations, they are dressing up. We have many kids that don't even recognize their therapist because their costumes are so great.
Yeah, it's probably, I think the best part, I enjoy doing it every year, myself and Jessica Potts, who is my partner, and we get to MC, but to watch the staff and just the joy. And I always think every year I have the same thought, you know, like these are folks that they're employees and they come to work and they do their job, but then their willingness to come out, you know, it's usually kind of a windy, cool Saturday. It's not usually, sometimes it is, sometimes it's hot, but they're giving their time over and above because they care so deeply about the kids, and they understand how important that event is every year.
Yes. And they love seeing the kids be able to achieve things that maybe they didn't expect for them to be able to achieve. And they get to witness it sometimes that day.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful experience.
It really is. Last thing we'll touch on. So one of the interesting things about being the mayor is you have to have a golf tournament, charity golf tournament. And I should just full disclosure, I'm a terrible golfer. I'm absolutely awful, and anybody who's ever played with me will agree with that. But we're in the midst right now. We've got the charity golf tournament. The mayor's charity golf tournament is coming up on May 31st. You are on the tournament committee.
Yep.
Just give a little sneak peek. What are we looking at this year?
Okay, we have a sold out tournament. The sponsorship support has been amazing, which means that community businesses are saying, we believe that worthy charitable organizations are going to be supported by these dollars, and we want to be a part of this. So right now, we have lots of different charity partners that are benefiting from this amazing, it's the inaugural tournament, because this is your first term as mayor and the first tournament that you've been able to do. And you're going to be setting, I don't know if you know even the full results, an amazing amount of support for charities like Niagara Children's Center, as well as the Niagara Health Foundation.
Niagara Health Foundation, the Young Caregivers Association. We've had folks from Young Caregivers on here as well before. So no, I'm really looking forward to it. Marla, I just want to thank you for coming in today for the conversation. I love the good work that we do at the Children's Center, and I want to thank you for everything that you do, along with Oksana Fisher and the rest of the team over there. It's a beautiful place.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we will be back right after the break, and we will be chatting with Jaiad and Erika from Matter of Black about the upcoming Emancipation Day celebrations in St. Catharines. Stay tuned. We'll see you on the other side. Hey, St. Catharines, welcome back. Mayor Matt Cisco here on talkSTC. Up next, we have a couple of guests to talk to us about Emancipation Day events that are coming up at the end of July. I'd like to welcome Jaiad Steenhuis and Erika Smith from Matter of Black. We are looking forward to the events that are coming up at the end of the month. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so I'm going to do two quick bios and then we'll get into the questions. So Jaiad, first with you, lifelong St. Catharines resident. You are the great-granddaughter of activist Helen Mabel Nicholson Smith and descendant of freedom seeker Adam Nicholson. Graduated from Brock University in 2022 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Medical Sciences. You are planning to further your education, pursue a career within healthcare. That is definitely a field we need more people in. You are currently working with the SNAP, which is Supporting Neurodiversity Through Adaptive Programming, which is a program you volunteered throughout your undergrad career, and you're also proud to support the Black community of Niagara with your fellow members of Matter of Black.
Yes.
I got that all right?
You got it all right.
Beautiful. All right, Erika, we're going to try for two today.
Okay.
Granddaughter of St. Catharines civil rights activist Helen Mabel Nicholson Smith and a descendant of freedom seekers John and Margaret Castle and Adam Nicholson.
Correct.
Co-founder of Matter of Black and an advocate for social justice. And you are a secondary school teacher for the DSBN, currently in the role of equity, inclusion, and anti-racism coach for secondary schools.
Nailed it.
I got it. Okay.
Two.
Excellent.
Well done.
And I should say, we just had a very long conversation before the camera turned on all about equity, diversity, and inclusion in schools. But we're not getting into that one today, although I'm thinking that may be a future episode if you're willing to come back and do it.
Yeah.
All right, so we may do that another time. Today, though, we're talking about Matter of Black. So how did it come to be? What kind of work do you do? And before we get to that, are we missing a member of the co-founding group for Emancipation Day?
We are.
Who's that?
Natasha Bell, and she's also the founder of Black Owned 905.
Yes.
She's our third member.
Excellent. And we should point out she's intimately involved in another downtown event going on this weekend as we're shooting this. So important to say, she's not here because she doesn't want to be.
No, she's busy.
Right. She's busy.
She is busy.
But tell me about Matter of Black.
Matter of Black was co-founded by the three of us in 2020. It was actually kind of sparked by what happened with George Floyd down in the States, and there was all the protests happening in the city. We were kind of pondering how can we make more of a lasting impact. As great as the protests were, they kind of are a one day thing, and it ends there a lot of the time. Yeah. So then we had a chat with the mayor's office at the time, and kind of started talking about Emancipation Day and how we could revitalize that to the city. The first 2 years were virtual, of course, with COVID, and then our third year was last year, and we got to be in person the first time, which was amazing. So we're going on to our 4th year in August, which we're very excited about.
That's awesome.
Natasha and I grew up with like Emancipation Day as like kind of like it was like our family reunion.
Yeah.
Because so much like we're all descendants of freedom seekers, and Emancipation Day came about through the Abolition of Slavery Act in 1833. So really, it was something that the Black community had been celebrating here, affectionately known as the Big Picnic. But it is Emancipation Day, and that we are celebrating in Lakeside Park. And Parliament made it an official national holiday in 2021. It was voted to be just recognized, which is a huge step in the right direction. And we're hoping to continue celebrating it within St. Catharines and beyond for many years to come, because it is important.
It is important. It's something, you know, like I didn't know about Emancipation Day until I moved here. And I actually saw storyboards at the carousel. And that was the first time I was exposed to it. And I remember saying to my wife at the time, why doesn't this still happen? Like, why don't we still celebrate this? So when it came back up over the last couple of years, I will admit to a little bit of very personal excitement, because this is a thing we should talk more about. It's a huge part of the city's history. And I think they refer to it as the Big Picnic. And that was the impression. And not just local people, but people traveling to come here over that weekend to celebrate. So.
And that's like part of it is that it was word of mouth.
Yeah.
And I think with the advances of technology, word of mouth events were definitely a thing of the past. Word of mouth is now through digital communications and advertising. So like people came far and wide, like from the States, from like inner parts of Canada to Lakeside Park to converge and celebrate Emancipation Day, the Big Picnic, whether you knew you were celebrating or not. We've heard testimonials from people from like the white community also saying like, I used to sneak out of my parents' house to go to the dance in the evening and stuff like that. So having it just be word of mouth and then having such an abrupt change with the advances of technology, I think also dwindled out the knowledge of it. Yeah. And it was a celebration for the Black community. But it's not only the Black community who ever only celebrated it. Yeah. So we want to bring it to the broader community and, of course, amplify the Black community as well.
Well, and I mean, that leads to the next question. Like, why is this important in 2023 for the broader community to be celebrating Emancipation Day? Like, what's the biggest reason why we need to keep doing this?
Yeah. Do you want me to take that one?
Sure, yeah. I'll add to it as I always do.
That's how I work. I think, first of all, the rich Black history in St. Catharines that a lot of people are unaware of. So I think it brings to light a lot of that, and that's what, as much as we're a celebration as well, we do try to recognize that through our programming. And then as well, it's just a space to recognize Black excellence, Black performers, celebrate Black success in the region, a space for all of that. But we do want the whole community to be involved. But it's also a nice sense of belonging for the Black community in St. Catharines that we try to promote.
And I think too, like, when people can relate to one another, it's a great avenue for combating racism. Yeah. To show people that there's more similarities than there are differences. There's still people in our communities who can say they don't have any Black friends. So in not having somebody Black to relate to, it's easy to pick up on the stereotypes and feel like everything that's negative in those stereotypes is true about every single Black person, but we're not a single entity. Yep. We're a mosaic of people, of colors, of just people. And at the bottom of the line, we're people. Yeah. And to see those similarities and to come together, to break bread, to celebrate, to laugh, to dance, to do all of that together in a setting where you can say now you've experienced a positive Black space. Yeah. And you enjoyed it, you met people. I think it's a great way to just, champion that anti-racism and champion that equity and inclusion. So that's definitely one of the goals of our celebration of Emancipation Day.
So how do you see Emancipation Day evolving over the future? Like, what do you think the next steps are?
I think our focus is growing it, of course. Yeah. So like we're always looking for community partnerships, for sponsors to help support us on the back end, because unfortunately nothing's free. No. So
grant writing is a lot of work.
But that support is really appreciated as we try to scale the event up throughout the years as well. we do want to always keep in touch with the roots of it, why it's a thing, you know, how our families kind of kept it going in the years where it dwindled down a little bit. So we don't want to commercialize it too much to an extent, but we do want to get the word out there and have it be a...
We do want to make sure people buy their Emancipation Day STC t-shirts.
Right. How embarrassing, we wear the same shirt.
This is,
Just kidding, we want to see everybody in them.
This is it. So July 30th, tell me what's on tap. Lakeside Park, what do we have going on the 30th this year?
Yeah, we've got a full day. We've got music, of course. So we've got a live DJ. We've got a great Toronto-based R&B artist, Tequila, who's on the come up. Actually TikTok famous. So a lot of people my age better show up for that one.
So yeah, the youth them, they got to come out.
They better come out. We've got a Juno Award-winning artist, Carlos Morgan, as our headliner for the night.
Okay.
He's got 9 members in his band who are going to be, so it's going to be an experience for sure.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. That sounds like a fun day. When does everything get started during the day?
Noon.
Noon at noon? Okay, so be there, be in Lakeside Park by noon.
Yeah, pack your cooler.
Soak a fit on the beach last year, that was so much fun. Like the little kids to the elderly out there busting a move, and Geisha Renee, who runs it, brings an incredible vibe. So that was great. We've got kids games happening midday with prizes. So
face painting and all.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know I brought my family out last year and they got right up to the stage, even the 13-year-olds, and I was not expecting that, but he was dancing around and having a good time. So.
New this year is we've got Dance and Culture doing an Afrobeat dance lesson for everybody who wants to pop in and learn a few steps. So Mayor Cisco, we want to catch you there.
Why does everybody want to see the mayor dance? I don't understand this.
Hey, it will be a learning opportunity. Everybody on the same playing field. The only experienced person will be the instructor.
Yeah, and the person with the least rhythm will be the one that everybody's paying attention
Just stand next to me and I'll make you look good.
Okay,
yeah, that's right.
Jada, Erika, thank you so much for coming in today and talking about this and getting the word out. And I look forward to getting out there, and you may get me out and dancing around.
We will get you out.
I appreciate that.
Sounds good. We won't take too many videos of it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, St. Catharines, we'll be back right after this. St. Catharines, thank you for joining me on this week's episode of talkSTC. I want to thank Marla Smith from the Niagara Children's Center. I also want to thank Jaiad Steenhuis and Erika Smith, who came in from Matter of Black to discuss the Emancipation Day celebrations that are coming up on July 30th at Lakeside Park. A reminder for folks, there is a vendor's market at the Emancipation Day event as well, put on by Black-owned 905, so make sure you get a chance to check it out. Again, thank you for spending your time with us, and I look forward to seeing you the next time out here on talkSTC.